Good morning, all. Now we're starting a new chapter, superconductivity. In this chapter, we must go through a survey of superconductivity, mechanism of superconductors, effect of magnetic field, Meissner effect, isotope effect, energy gap, coherence length, Josephson effect, BCS theory, and applications of superconductivity, and type 1, type 2 superconductors. First, we go to the introductions. In the case of metals, when the temperature decreases, its electrical resistivity decreases. That is, at absolute zero, all the metals and alloys will have very small resistance. In pure metals, the resistivity is due to the thermal vibrations of the lattice. But in real metals, electrons are scattered by impurities and this effect may be depend on temperature. So in real metals, the resistivity is due to the scattering of electrons and also due to the thermal vibrations of the lattice. The residual resistivity which remains at the lowest temperature. But certain metals show a very remarkable behavior. That is, when they are cooled, their electrical resistance decreases in the usual way, but on reaching a temperature some few degree above the absolute temperature, the metal suddenly loses all its electrical resistance, or it will have zero resistance, or we can say that they have become superconductors. A conductor without any resistance can be called as superconductor. So in some metals, when the temperature is reduced very low, near to absolute zero, then when reaching the nearest of absolute zero, its resistance sharply go to zero, or eventually all its resistance vanishes and it become a superconductor. This effect is known as superconductivity. So the superconductivity, it is a phenomenon in which certain metals, alloys, and ceramics conduct electricity without resistance when it cooled below a certain temperature called the critical temperature. I repeat, superconductivity is a phenomenon in which certain metals, alloys, and ceramics conduct electricity without resistance when it is cooled below a certain temperature called critical temperature. Just look at some videos. This video shows a conduction take place in an ordinary metal in low temperature and also at medium temperature. Just watch the video. The temperature is increasing. Then the resistance also increases. Once more, look at the video. When we give some potential across a conductor, the electrons will flow towards the positive terminal. But in lower temperature, the electron is bound to the lattice. When the temperature increasing, the lattice is vibrating. Then scattering of electrons also occurs. then the motion of electron reduces. It means motion of electron reduces means current reduces, so the resistance increases. Then what happens when the temperature is very low? Look at this video. Have you heard about liquid helium? When the helium is cooled to a low temperature, approximately up to 4 Kelvin, it must have some fantastic properties. Here, in this case, we use liquid helium to drop the temperature of our conductor. Just assume that. Then here we consider that we cooled our conductor to a lower temperature. In the periodic table, these elements show superconductivity. When the temperature is reduces, the lattice is just look at an electron is moving. I will explain the details of this video in the later sessions. This is the case of Cooper pair formation. Now, just watch it. In lower temperature, the lattice vibration is very small or the lattice is very ordered. When an electron reaches there, it attracts the lattice. Then there must be an extra positive charge near that electron. Then a nearby electron coming to that side, see that there is an excess, there is an large amount of positive charge. Then that electron attracted to that positive charge. But in the background, there is an electron, but the outer electron attracted by the lattice. Then these two electron forming a pair that is called as Cooper pair. And in this video, we can see that this Cooper pair can move through the lattice without any resistance. That is, there is no lattice vibration here, and there is no scattering of electron occurring there. Then the electron can, sorry, not the electron, the Cooper pair can move through the superconductor without any resistance. Now just look at the graph. When the temperature decreases, a pure metal decreases its electrical resistivity and reach at zero electrical resistivity when the temperature is absolute zero. In the case of impure metals, when the temperature decreases, the electrical resistivity decreases, and at absolute zero, it may have some electrical resistivity, but it will be very less. And in the case of superconductors, when we reducing the temperature, its electrical resistivity decreases as of the metals, but reaching at a particular temperature, its electrical resistivity sharply goes to zero. This is known as superconductivity. Then we discuss the survey of superconductivity. It is observed by, in 1911, Dutch physicist Cameron Ons. It is observed in mercury. The resistance of mercury dropped from 0.08 ohm to 3 into 10 raised to minus 6 ohm at about 4 Kelvin over a temperature interval of 0.01 Kelvin. That means when the change in temperatures is 0.01 Kelvin, the resistance of mercury dropped from 0.08 ohm to 3 into 10 raised to minus 6, or we can write it as 0.00003 ohm. When we compare with 0.08, it is very, very less. Not all pure metal found to be superconductors. That is, pure metals are not superconductors. Or we can say, in another word, good superconducting materials like zinc and lead are not good electrical conductors. So, good electrical conductors are not superconductors. Good superconductors are not pure metals. Good electrical conductors like copper and gold are not good superconductors. Just look at the two sentences. Good superconducting materials like zinc and lead are not good electrical conductors, but good electrical conductors like copper and gold are not good superconductors. Okay. The addition of impurity destroys the superconducting property. A normal conductor is brought into superconducting state by increasing its pressure. Superconductivity can be shown by conductors which are not metal in ordinary sense. Example, semiconducting mixed oxide of barium, lead, bismuth, etc. The transition temperature is not very sensitive to impurities, but the magnetic impurities tend to lower the transition temperatures. Most of non-superconductors are alloys or compounds. But here it is a interesting thing, that is, it is possible for a compound to be superconducting even if the chemical elements constituting it are not. In the previous session, in the previous slide, we say that good conductors, good electrical conductors are not good superconductors. Example, copper, silver, gold, etc. So, silver is not a superconductor, and but disilver fluoride Ag2F, it is a superconductor. It is a compound of silver, it is a superconductor. And similar carbon is not a superconductor, but a compound of carbon and potassium, CH2, it is a superconductor. So it is possible for a compound to be superconducting even if the chemical element constituting it are not superconductors. Here, some of the example of superconductors and their transition temperatures. Just look at the table. Aluminum with a transition temperature 1.196 Kelvin, gallium 1.09 Kelvin, tin 3.72, mercury 4.12, lead 7.175, niobium 9.3 Kelvin, zinc 0.9 Kelvin, tantalum 4.5 Kelvin, thallium 2.4 Kelvin, rhenium 1.7 Kelvin, and the bismuth cuprate 108 Kelvin, and thallium cuprate 125 Kelvin. These temperatures are very high temperature. Okay, these are some high temperature superconductors, and recently founded high temperature superconductor is hydrogen sulfide, H2S. H2S is found to undergo superconducting transition near 203 Kelvin. That is, it is minus 700 degree Celsius. It is one of the highest temperature superconductor known to date. Now we discuss the mechanism of superconductors. Although the finding of superconductivity is in the years of 1911 to 1916, but the satisfactory theory of superconductivity was given by Bardeen, Cooper, Schiffer in 1957. It is known as BCS theory. They showed that superconductivity occurs when a special state of affairs exists between the conduction electrons. The two electrons in free space will be mutually repelled by Coulomb force, but in solid state, the force between two electrons will be modified by the interaction of this electron with the crystal lattice. In certain substances, the lattice interaction is so great that simple repulsive force become modified into an attractive force binding certain electrons together into form a pair. That we observed in that introductory video. Here it says that we know that the force between the two electrons will be repulsive, but as the lattice interaction is so great, so it modified that repulsive force into an attractive force that binding that electrons together into form a pair. Such pairs of electrons are called Cooper pair. For two electrons to become bound into a Cooper pair, they must be in equilibrium condition with no current flowing. It must have equal and opposite momentum. Okay. The condition is that they must be in equilibrium condition. That means with no current flowing, it must have equal and opposite momentum. Those material in which Cooper pair can exist are superconductors. In other words, only in superconductors the Cooper pairs are formed. But in general, the phenomena occur only at the lowest temperature when the thermal energy is not sufficient to disrupt the binding. The Cooper pairs can drift through the crystal carrying current, and we shall see that there is no way in which the electrons in Cooper pair can be scattered. That means there is no scattering for electrons in the Cooper pair. So there is no chance of resistance. So the current flow is thus resistanceless and the material is a superconductor. In the superconductor, the interaction of electron and phonon, phonon means the lattice vibration. I repeat, the quanta of lattice vibration is known as phonon. The quanta of light energy is photon. In the similar way, the quanta of lattice vibration, lattice energy is phonon. Okay, so in the superconductor, the interaction of electrons and the phonon is modified by the fact that electrons may no longer be independent but may be bound together in Cooper pair, which can drift through the material when current flows. If either of the electron in a Cooper pair is to be scattered by a collision and its momentum in the direction of the current flow changed, then in addition to the ordinary criteria concerning the permitted energy and momentum before and after collision, the phonon must also provide sufficient energy to break the bond holding the pair of electron together. That means to break the bond, Cooper pair bond, the phonon must give more energy. The phonon, that means the lattice, must give more energy to the Cooper pair to break the bond. But in the lower temperature, it is not possible. At sufficiently low temperature, the number of phonon in the material possessing sufficient energy to disrupt a Cooper pair becomes very small. And such pairs may pass through the lattice without scattering. These electrons experience no resistance. This slides gives why there is no scattering of electrons occurs or why the Cooper pair is not breaking. Now we go to analyze the properties of superconductors. The current in a superconductor persists for a long time. Metallic substances with number of valence electron lies between 2 and 8 exhibit superconductivity. If the number of valence electron is in between 2 and 8, such metallic substances exhibit superconductivity. And next is an important property. The magnetic field does not penetrate into the body of superconductor. The magnetic field does not penetrate into the body of a superconductor. This is the Meissner effect. We will discuss Meissner effect in detail in next sessions. So the third property is magnetic field does not penetrate into the body of superconductor. When the applied magnetic field is greater than a critical value, the superconductor becomes a normal conductor. Superconductivity occurs in material having high normal resistivities. N into rho greater than 10 raised to 6, where N is the number of valence electron per centimeter cube and rho is the resistivity. If N into rho is greater than 10 raised to 6, superconductivity occurs in that material. When the current through the superconductor increased beyond a critical value, the superconductor again become a normal conductor. So many criteria are there. Here, one criteria is to become a superconductor, there is a critical value of field. Okay, if magnetic field, if the magnetic field greater than a critical value, the superconductor become normal conductor. Okay, next is when the current through the superconductor is increased beyond a critical value, the superconductor again become a normal conductor. And there is also another criteria, that is, it is the fundamental one, that is when the temperature is increased from 0. We know that at the lower temperatures we observe superconductivity. When the temperature beyond the critical temperature, it will become a normal conductor. And the next property is the specific heat of the material show an abrupt change at T is equal to Tc, where Tc is the critical temperature. And some general features of superconductors. First is monovalent metals are generally not superconductor. We have said that when the outermost electron, number of outermost electron is between 2 and 8, material shows superconductivity. So monovalent metals are not superconductors. Next is ferromagnetic and antiferromagnetic materials are not superconductors. And the next is good conductors at room temperature are not superconductors, and superconductors are not good conductors at room temperature. Next, amorphous thin films of beryllium, bismuth, and iron show superconductivity. Bismuth, antimony, and tellurium become superconducting under high pressure. Next, we go to the effect of magnetic field in superconductivity. The superconducting state of a metal exists only in a particular range of temperature and field strength. In the previous slide, we have mentioned that there is a critical value of temperature and critical value of magnetic field. So the superconducting state of a metal exists only in a particular range of temperature and field strength. The condition for superconducting state to exist in the metal is that some combination of temperature and field strength should be less than a critical value. That is, the temperature must be less than critical temperature and the magnetic field must be less than critical magnetic field. So the superconductivity will disappear if the temperature of the specimen is raised above critical temperature, or if a sufficiently strong magnetic field is employed. If any condition is occurred, if the temperature is greater than Tc or strong magnetic field. Strong magnetic field means magnetic field is greater than critical magnetic field. The value of the magnetic field at which superconductivity vanishes at any temperature is called critical magnetic field, that is denoted by Hc. The curve between the critical magnetic field versus temperature, nearly parabolic, can be reasonably represented by the relation. Here, this is the curve that showing here in y-axis the magnetic field and x-axis the temperature. Here H0 is a critical field at 0 Kelvin. Then and here Tc is the critical temperature, and this is the parabolic curve. And it can be represented by the equation Hc is equal to H0 into 1 minus T by Tc whole square. We have mentioned that the value of magnetic field at which the superconductivity vanishes at any temperature T is called critical magnetic field. So it is the expression for critical magnetic field at temperature T. That is H is equal to H0 into 1 minus T divided by Tc whole square, where H0 is the maximum critical field strength occurring at absolute zero, and Ac is the critical field strength at temperature T, and Tc is the critical temperature, or it is the highest temperature for the superconductivity. This equation is very important one. Problems can be asked related to this equation. This is the effect of magnetic field in superconductivity when the temperature increases. Here, look at this one. This is the superconducting state. This shaded area, and this is the normal state. When the temperature increases over Tc, it becomes normal state. Okay, when the magnetic field is greater than this quantity, it must go normal state. This is the expression representing this parabolic curve. And here, this is the critical field curve for a number of pure metals. This is for aluminum, this is for tin, and this is for lead. This is the critical magnetic field, and here is the temperatures. Next is the two fluid model. It is not a mentioned topic in the syllabus, but it contains in the sections mentioned for us. This is asked in the previous here. According to this model, that is the two fluid model, a superconductor can be thought to be composed of normal and superfluid electrons. In the classification of superconductors, we will classify the superconductors into type 1 and type 2. We more prefers type 2 superconductors. In such cases, there is a mixed state in which there will be superconduction and also normal conduction. Such a model is called as two fluid model. According to this model, a superconductor can be thought to be composed of both normal and superfluid electrons. Below the transition temperature, the conduction electron divide into two classes. Some behaving as superelectron, which can pass through the metal without resistance or suffering no collision or no scattering occurs. And the remainder behaving as normal electron, which can be scattered and so experience just like conduction normal metal. The fraction of superelectron appears to decrease as the temperature is raised towards the transition temperature. We know that when the temperature crossing the transition temperature, a superconductor become normal conductor. Then the number of the fraction of superelectron decreases. The superconductor just becoming a normal conductor. At 0 Kelvin, conduction electrons behave like superelectron. In this sentence, we mention when temperature increases, the number of superelectron decreases. And here, in the next sentence, we mention when the temperature reduces. When the temperature reduces, the number of superelectron increases. When the temperature is reaching at 0 Kelvin, it is the available lowest temperature, then all the conduction electron, all the normal electron will behave like super electron. And if the temperature is raised, Fu begin to behave as normal electron, and further heating, the proportion of normal electrons increases. It says at absolute zero, there is only super electrons, and V increases the temperature gradually. Then the number of normal electrons increases, so number of super electrons decreases. Then when the temperature is reaching at the critical temperature, all the super electrons, all the superconducting electrons becomes normal electrons. So eventually at the transition temperature, all the electrons have become normal electron and the metal loses its superconducting property. Hence, a superconductor below its transition temperature appears to be permeated by two electrons fluids, one of normal electrons and one of super electrons. The relative electron density in the two fluid depends on the temperature. This two fluid model is suggested by thermodynamic arguments based on the result of specific heat and similar measurement on superconductors. So this is about the two fluids model. Next we discuss the critical current. One of the slides we have mentioned about critical current. The magnetic field causes a superconductor to become normal from superconducting state need not necessarily by an external applied field. It may arise as a result of electric current flow in the conductor. The minimum current that can be passed in a sample without destroying its superconductivity is called critical current. So the current increases, then IC, the superconducting property must vanish. So the critical current is the minimum current that can be passed in a sample without destroying its superconductivity. Now we have to obtain an expression for critical current. If a wire of radius smaller of type 1 superconductor carries a current I, there is a surface magnetic field Hi is equal to IC divided by 2 pi r. The value of the surface magnetic current Hi is equal to IC divided by 2 pi r associated with the current. If Hi is the magnetic field, it is the surface magnetic field due to the current. Okay, if that magnetic field exceeds Hc, what is Hc? It is a critical magnetic field. If this surface magnetic field is greater than Hc, the material will go normal. This is the reason why when we increasing the current, the superconductivity vanishes. If in addition, if we apply a transverse magnetic field, this Hi is due to the applied current. Okay. In addition, we apply an external transverse magnetic field H is applied to the wire. The condition for the transition to the normal state at the surface is that the sum of the applied field and the field due to the current should be equal to the critical field. Okay. The total effect of field due to the current and the external applied transverse magnetic field. Okay. It must be equal to the critical field, or we can write HC must be equal to HI divided by 2H. If this is the limiting condition, if HI plus 2H is greater than HC, it destroys its superconductivity. Then here we apply the value of HC, sorry, value of HI. HI is equal to IC divided by 2 pi r, or that is equal to SC minus 2H. Then IC is equal to 2 pi r into HC minus 2H, where H is the capital H is the applied magnetic field. This is the critical current when an external transverse magnetic field is applied. Okay. This is called Silsby's rule. The rule is the critical current will decrease linearly with increase of applied field until it reaches 0 at H is equal to HC by 2. Okay. It means that when the value of, look at the expression, when the value of capital H, it is the applied field, it increases. When it increases, it will increases. Then when IC is equal to 0, if this term becomes 0, IC will be equal to 0. Or when HC is equal to 2H, IC will be equal to 0. When HC is equal to 2H, or H is equal to AC by 2. Okay. This is known as Silsby's rules. That is, the critical current will decrease linearly with increase of applied field until it reaches 0 at H is equal to SC divided by 2. It is also asked in the previous question paper. Silsby's rule.